Armsday has returned from Destiny 1 to Destiny 2 in the form of a brand new free event. Now, for those who've never played Destiny 1 or for those who need a refresher, Armsday in Destiny 1 was an update added by Bungie during the Taken King expansion. This update gave Bungie the faction rep ability and allowed Guardians to pick up test weapon bounties. Bounties that make you use weapons and complete random objectives that built up the faction rep. Leveling up the rep would allow Guardians to pick up weapon packages every Wednesday, and on the next following Wednesday, you'd be met with 3 randomly rolled options. This was a great way to get rare weapons with some rare perk options, such as the Amalon Sniper and Hand Cannon with the powerful Luck in the Chamber perk, which granted a random bullet in the magazine a 33% damage bonus, allowing for some crazy damage in PvP. So how does the Armsday event compare to its D1 predecessor? Well, scholars, welcome to the Counselor's Office. Today, we'll be answering that question in our brutally honest review of the Armsday event. Armsday has returned, and this time it's ran by 801, the former Black Armory hostess. Now she takes the lead in the Armsday event, and she'll kick it all off by handing out an event quest called Initial Calibration, which you'll have 3 different bounties revolving around hand cannons. The 3 quest bounties include prototype tuning, which is barrel, magazine, and traits. The magazine quest will have you kill targets in the portal with hand cannons. The traits quest will have you rapidly kill combatants with hand cannons, and the barrel quest will get precision final blows with hand cannons. PvP kills with hand cannons grant a little bit more progress. After that, you'll be told to exchange combat telemetry, the new currency earned during the event via the portal, buy an Armsday engram and exchange it for an event weapon. The next step will be to unlock and use the exclusive volatile mods that can only be used during this event. After completing the quest, you'll unlock 2 more volatile quests for the other 2 event mods, the Cowboy Grip and the Chaotic Munitions mod. These quests are simple. Just get kills with a hand cannon using this mod, and then you're done. That's it. So immediately, Bungie has captured the essence of the original by having you do these gun bounties similar to the D1 predecessor, which is fine. The biggest downside is that it's a limited time event instead of being a weekly activity, and there's also no faction rep involved. The quests are straightforward and easy to accomplish by anyone. Furthermore, the biggest highlight is that Bungie captured the entire point of Armsday, the rare and interesting weapons. We'll talk about the weapons themselves later, but in this event, Bungie brought a brand new weapon archetype, the spread shot hand cannon, which is essentially a shotgun in the form of a hand cannon. It's pretty crazy. Bonitaria Farah, I don't know if I said that right. Don't expect me to say that right. A solar spread hand cannon is the only current secondary slot spread shot hand cannon in the game right now. There is a primary version in Trials of Osiris, but as it stands, this event holds a rare weapon type that you can't get anywhere else in the game. That is what Armsday has always been about. Now, this is the first iteration of Armsday, and whether Bungie keeps up this process of having rare weapon types or weapons with rare perks in the future, we'll have to wait and see. Now, a key difference from the D1 version of Armsday to the D2 version is that instead of waiting until next Wednesday to get access to these rare weapons, you have an entire week to farm them out. You can simply play the portal, gain combat telemetry, and buy Armsday engrams and exchange them directly to Ada for either a random weapon drop of either the Strand Trace Rifle or hand cannon, or you can spend more currency to directly purchase the event hand cannon itself. You can turn them into Ryol for free, but you'll only get tier 1 versions with 0 enhanced perks. You also have the option to buy some older hand cannons. Now, not one of these will actually have the new tier system. Unfortunately, they're just old guns. You can, however, buy copies of the older weapons that could be crafted. That's kind of nice. Now, you can get red borders of these craftable weapons, such as Episodes, Echoes, Sightline, Survey. It's completely random, but it's confirmed you can get red borders. Other weapons such as Palindrome can be enhanced with enhanced perks, but none of these weapons are updated to the new tier system. So my thoughts on this event in regarding to the rewards are pretty positive. I think it's pretty nice to get god rolls that you want of the new weapons. You can chase some old weapons like the Trials hand cannon that you can no longer get from Saint, and you can get some craftable weapons that are harder to get because, let's be honest, Xur has too many freaking guns in his loot pool. You don't need to sell your soul to get good weapons in general, since all the rolls from Ada herself are all tier 3 weapons, which means you not only will get 2 perks in each column, but they're also enhanced. For new players and returning players, and even veterans, this system allows for an easy process of getting new loot. However, there are some issues with this system. For one, you cannot get tier 5 versions. That's right, you cannot get tier 5 versions, and you can only get a limited amount of tier 4 versions unless you swipe your credit card. More on that later. It doesn't make sense that there is no way for even veterans to chase tier 5 versions of these weapons. Instead of chasing tier 4, tier 5 versions of these weapons, Bungie introduced the hollow foil versions of these weapons, which, don't get me wrong, these look sick. Not only that, but the background icon for these weapons are also holofoil, like you're collecting Pokemon cards. It's absolutely amazing. It's unfortunate that these holofoils are incredibly rare and aren't even high tier. This event is about chasing holofoils rather than chasing high tier weapons. 9 out of 10, you'll get the god roll pretty quickly that you want, and you'll spend most of your time farming for these holo versions instead, which gets very old quickly. Secondly, now while it's incredibly easy to farm the currency for these weapons, the biggest criticism I have for this event, and makes the event a failure in my eyes, is the fact that you have to farm the portal. Yes, for some reason, everything has to revolve around the portal. Essentially, if you're farming the portal for power progression, which 90% of the community hates, you don't have to do anything different than you already are in order to get these Armsday weapons. In that regard, it's just free extra loot. But from an event view, it's not an event. Now, do I have suggestions on how to make a real event out of Armsday? I do, but I'll wait to the end to give it. 3. Another criticism of the system is that Bungie caps the currency at 500. Why? You spend 25 telemetry to buy an engram, then you can buy 10 engrams to fill your inventory, and then spend 25 telemetry to exchange them for random weapons. You spend 250 for 10 engrams, and then 250 to decode all 10. Why is there a low currency cap for a limited time event? Why can't people keep farming, get a crap ton of currency, and then turn it in at their own pace? Instead, you have to mentally keep track of this extra currency to make sure you don't hit the cap. Stop what you're doing and then go turn it all in. Then return to what you were doing. It's just an annoyance and provides zero benefit to the cap currency. Furthermore, why do engrams go to our inventory? Bungie used to have a tracking system with vendors, but in Edge of Fate, they decided to remove that across the board. But why couldn't Ada still have it? Why couldn't she hold all the engrams for us? That means you have to go one at a time, or how many you have spaces. For anyone wondering why you would need to do this, exotic engrams, some people may not have the resources to actually focus the exotics they want and are saving them for later. I don't get why Bungie makes a bunch of quality of life changes, then takes them all away in Edge of Fate, only to make more quality of life changes in exchange, but decide to make events without good quality of changes, going 2 steps forward and 20 steps back. But what about the main reason for the event? The weapons, the mods that you receive in the event. Well, let me just say, it's really stupid that the tier for this event is tied to the Guardian rank. Especially if you're not Guardian rank 6 with power level over 270, you will never get a tier 3 weapon. So if you aren't playing regularly and grinding the game out, you'll never get that tier 3 loot. Let's start with the hand cannon. I think it's great. It's unique, it's fun, it's exciting. Now, will everyone love it? No, but it's unique. It has great combo options, and overall, the time farming for a god roll is not that bad. But I cannot say the same thing about the trace rifle, Ribbon Tail, which is our 3rd strand trace rifle. Our 3rd. I don't understand the choice here. We have 3 strand trace rifles with Unsworn, the best strand trace rifle in the game, which can come from Sunder Doctrine, which came out just this year. The 2nd trace rifle was from Trials of Osiris, which granted you can no longer get at this moment since Bungie removed any way of getting it. I've yet to see any Trials weapons from Xur, and if they do, good luck. Xur has so many weapons in his pool, it's a nightmare to pull it. However, Unsworn still exists in the game. You know what we don't have 3 versions of in the game? A Stasis Trace Rifle. We have 1 legendary Stasis Trace Rifle, a Pentis from Seasons of the Wish, and can only be acquired from Xur at the moment. We currently have an easy way to get a Strand Trace Rifle, but not a Stasis one. This could be a great way to introduce Chill Clip on a stasis trace rifle to get people excited. But no, we have a worse version of Unsworn. But hey, at least it looks shiny, I guess. The mods are really cool except for the cowboy grip. It does increase your hipfire accuracy, but like who cares? In PvE especially. Who's wasting time to use this? In PvP, how many people are hip firing a hand cannon unless it's last word? And even then, last word isn't that good anymore. Okay, what about the fragmentation round mod? It's really fun in PvP and PvE. You can pick up some team kills in PvP and you can wipe groups in PvE. It's like hand cannon got access to the cluster bomb perk from rocket launchers. Chaotic munitions is exactly what it sounds like. It's pure chaos. Getting a precision kill causes a random effect. These effects include ruinous effigy orbs to spawn, stasis crystals, Lorentz driver black holes, a random cube that I've yet to figure out what the hell it actually does can spawn, counterfeit exotics that make you think they're exotics and you spawn in front of you and you blow yourself up because you think, ooh, shiny, it's an exotic, and it's not. And you also spawn a literal scythe. Yes, you spawn the Seas of the Haunted Scythe, and it's pretty fun to run in higher tier activities. Overall, these mods are pretty fun, even though they are limited to only hand cannons. However, the biggest issue I have with these mods is one, you can only use them in the hardware mode for PvP, which we'll talk about in a minute. Two, you can't even use it in the new Desert Perpetual raid, which makes no sense considering you can't farm pinnacle gear from this raid. It's actively better to farm the portal. You can't even get tier 4 gear reliably. You can't even get tier 5 right now. How are these mods going to break the game? Like, what mod is going to allow you to solo the bosses? So someone is running the scythe and attacking a boss. That sounds badass and probably will do less damage than just left-clicking Outbreak Perfected, but okay, Bungie, pop off. Lastly, we come to the event home tab and rewards. Let me give some praise here. The event is well organized outside of the currency and engram situation. Everything can be seen from the event home tab. It's clean, it's easy to follow, and you can follow the quest steps directly from this page. And you can launch both the firing range and Armsday hardware mode directly from this page. It's very cleanly laid out and makes having to figure crap out much easier. Thank you for that. However, this is where most of the criticism is going to be directed toward for this event. Let's get it out of here. Let's get it out of the way. It's a free event. It has a free event pass. Yes, you can earn it completely free. You can do the daily challenges, the weekly challenges to unlock everything. Bungie recently tweeted that XP was bugged, that playing activities in the portal and Armsday activity, the Armsday hardware activity was supposed to grant XP towards the event. That should be resolved now. Great. However, just because something is free doesn't mean it's free from criticism. Heavy Metal had the same setup as Armsday, and it was our first introduction to the system. Now that Armsday is out, we've got more time to really digest the setup for events. Now it's time to give some criticism. I'm going to be brutally honest here. I miss the old event pass. I mean it. You could target focus exactly what you wanted. You did the objectives and unlock the rewards you wanted. You could skip things that you didn't want to do, and you went right for what you did want. With how the event is set up, you have to grind out XP to unlock everything in the pass. If you wanted only the last thing on the list, you gotta grind it out. Sucks to suck. It's very obvious this change was not meant for the benefit of the gamer, but rather for Bungie, as it forces more playtime and retention, allowing for those metrics to shine. In fact, this whole event is set up to be just like Halo Infinite was at launch with its events. If anyone remembers, Halo Infinite was incredibly unrewarding with XP gains. Even the challenges themselves were not rewarding with XP. It was grindy, it was boring, and even though it was free, it was also heavily criticized. In fact, Bungie has made the same mistake as Halo Infinite, as both used game modes that have already existed in the past as some part of the event. Halo Infinite used the classic Fiesta mode, and Bungie reintroduced hardware. Did these two modes bring anything different to them? No! Both Fiesta mode and hardware are exactly the way they were previously introduced in their respective events. Halo Infinite also had a free reward track that you had to grind out. Now, unlike the launch of Halo Infinite, you can actually play the portal to grind out Armsday Event. However, it's super grindy and equally not as interesting as how Halo Infinite was. However, don't worry, if you want to avoid that super grind, you can spend money to buy event tracks for cash money. Yep, Bungie has to gain money somehow, right? Why does it feel like a mobile gacha game? Well, because it is. See, Bungie sneakily made the only way to get tier 4 weapons is from buying them from the reward shop. How do you get them? Using event tokens earned from daily and weekly challenges, which if you spend every day doing these, including the 3 free reroll chips, you will gain 330 event tokens, which allows you to buy only 3 weapons. Don't worry, that's the cap for each weapon. It's 3. You can only buy 3 of each weapon and 4 of the free engrams. Want to be able to get tier 4 of other weapons? Well, you gotta buy those reroll chips, which funny enough is only purchasable with silver. That's right. Not only can you not farm tier 4s, but you're limited to both the cap of what you can buy in general, but also capped on how many free purchases you can get. So you have to spend money to buy more tier 4s, including the engrams, which can give you 4 copies. Crazy that Bungie has created a literal pay-to-win system with a free event. Yes, being able to buy tier 4 weapons is free to play, which is exactly like a mobile gacha game. Bungie has managed to make a free event into more of a gacha game than some mobile games. To make matters worse, this limited time event has the most expensive reward shop you will ever see. 300 tokens for 1 Ascendant Shard. Bro, you can spend your entire time knocking out dailies just for 1 Ascendant Shard. It's crazy. Bungie will create an event that's easy to farm for weapons, but the moment any kind of material currency like shards are included, we gotta ramp those prices up, baby. I don't know why Bungie is so stingy with material in this game. I've never played a game that is so stingy on with its material system. Why? People really going to speedrun this game with a few extra Senate shards or enhancement cores in the game? Like, oh God, little Jimmy's gonna be able to solo the boss because he got 5 extra Senate shards. Holy shit, we gotta do something. I've already mentioned it, but the PvP event is hardware. It's hardware. This is literally nothing different about it, except you can use the event mods. Ooh, we are really breaking the bank with creative ideas here, aren't we? At least heavy metal was a unique mode that we've never seen before. Instead of getting a cool event mode to farm and play out, we just got a PvP mode we already had, and just more portal time. Bungie couldn't even be bothered to make a small fun mode to play with this event. Imagine a special Onslaught mode on a new map only found on Armsday, which ironically, Onslaught is a great way to grind out bounties and challenges. But here's how Bungie could actually make Armsday an actual event. Something people would actually look forward to, something people would actually want to play. Bring back Black Armory, bring back Forges, bring back Scourge of the Past, and here's how you do it. So Ada 1 is the hostess for Armsday, and she happens to be from Black Armory. It makes sense. Each time you bring Armsday week, you introduce one of the sunsetted forges back. See, instead of doing it all at once, you slowly drip feed it throughout the year or 6 months, whatever makes it easier for Bungie. This allows Bungie to not have to put all their eggs in one basket, gives them time to work around with resources. It's more feasible instead of trying to do it all at once. Again, I'm going to try to be really reasonable with these suggestions. For example, you launch the first 3-man activity with the Volnder Forge. I don't know if I said that right. Volnder. You bring back 1 sunsetted Black Armory weapon and 2 new ones. For example, let's say the Kindled Orchid comes back with a new Strand Trace Rifle and Spread Shot Hand Cannon. You play the Volnder Forge to farm out not only these 3 weapons, but you also farm them for a chance at a special Black Armory holofoil version of these weapons. Let's spice it up. Not only do you farm out these weapons, but you also use the currency to buy out the exotic weapon Jotun. That's right. Instead of having to use actual currency, you can actually just use the event currency for people who are new and returning to the game. You can just straight out buy this exotic. The next time Armsday comes back, Bungie introduces not only the Volnder Forge, but also a new forge. Let's say it's the Izanami Forge. We get the Ringing Nail Auto Rifle and another new weapon. You get the ability to buy Izanagi's Burden with the currency, and you get to chase holofoils of the weapons. The third time, they introduce another forge. Let's say, for example, the Bergugia Forge. We get Tatar's Gaze, another new weapon as well. We get the ability to buy Le Monarch Exotic. There's a total of 4 forges. They could do all 4 or just 3 in 3 different locations. There's a lot of weapons from Black Armory they could bring back, including Scourge of the Past raid weapons too. Then the final Arms Day for the expansion or the year, whatever Bungie wants to do, Bungie brings back Scourge of the Past, but not the whole raid. Because 1, I know Bungie wouldn't do that. 2, I'm trying to be reasonable because I know they won't do that, right? And so instead of bringing back the whole raid, they bring back the final boss fight. That's right. It's a 6-man activity on the final week of Arms Week of the expansion. Not only does it have the normal raid encounter, it has an explore mode to teach new and returning players how to do the boss raid encounter. But there's also the ultimate mode for veterans and diehards. What do you get for just doing the encounter? For people who don't have it, you unlock Anarchy. You're able to just straight up buy it with the currency and doing the raid. Also, this is a great time for Bungie to put in the Anarchy Catalyst, which can be received as a random drop. Oh, holofoils of the raid weapons, like threat level, can only be received from doing. Also, Bungie can put in the Anarchy Catalyst inside just doing the normal raid. Oh, what about the ultimate mode? Well, being the encounter in ultimate mode will give you holofoils of the raid weapons, like threat level, that can only be received from the ultimate mode. Not only that, but you can farm for the chance of getting random drops of the unique and rare Anarchy ornament. Yes, a very rare drop that makes even the most dedicated veteran feel like they need to continue chasing and playing the mode. Bungie can make ultimate mode spicy with new modifiers, banes, and even introduce enemies we've never had before. Imagine having to fight the berserkers while also killing brigs that are protecting them. None of these are unreasonable. None of these assets are over the top. None of these assets are new. I mean, we already have fallen berserkers in the final shape. Not only that, but all forged locations are still in the game. Hell, Bungie just used the Conflux location where Izanami Forge was. We already have ball throwing mechanics in the game. We have Cabal, we have Vex, we have Fallen. What are we missing? What is stopping Bungie from doing this? Money. Well, this is a perfect time to introduce Mr. Gaming Counselor's money scheme for Bungie. Remember what Bungie said back in the day when they said ornaments funded secret missions like Whisper and 0 Hour? Well, either they were lying or they were telling the truth. Why does this matter? Because for these events, brand new ornaments for 2 each for each of the Black Armory exotic weapons that you can only buy for silver and can only be bought during the event itself. That's right, FOMO baby, make them swipe the cards. Listen, if it pays for the event, I'm all in for it. What about Anarchy? Sure, make one more ornament that is only for silver and make people earn the super rare ornament from the ultimate mode. Also, those new weapons, make buyable ornaments for them. That's what Bungie did back in the day for Black Armory, and they also did it for weapons like Main Ingredient and Recluse. Easy way to make money. Hell, sell special Black Armory armor ornaments that are only available during the event. I'll buy all 3 just to support future events like this if we actually get them. And I know people are now raising their eyebrows and say, I cannot believe you're willing to support MTX with them bringing back content we paid for. You're right. We already paid for it. We automatically should get it back. I'm also a realist. Bungie ain't bringing anything sunsetted back, especially that far back, nor will we get it at the rate that we want it. Like, let's be honest, in a perfect world, we get it all back for free and you get it in a timely fashion. It's not going to happen. It really isn't. Realistically, that's not going to happen. I would love Scourge of the Past to come back in its full glory, but I know Bungie, you know Bungie, it ain't happening. Bungie's going to do the bare minimum for the least amount of money. However, if they can make bank off something, they'll do it. I think Rights to the Nine is a perfect example of an event that was lackluster and had minimal effort put into it. So when I provide these ways for Bungie to monetize a free event, I do so with the hope that we can even get an event like this at all. Because reality is Bungie won't do jack if they don't get money. They are a business. They are not a charity. They're looking for what's best for them. And if you think they do things out of the kindness of the heart, you are delusional, which is why I have formulated an idea for this event that is realistic and allows for a way for them to earn money out of it. Doesn't matter whether you agree or disagree, the truth is Bungie wants money, and that's never going to change. Anyway, that's my feedback and suggestions to make an actual event. And this has been my brutally honest review of the Armsday event. I think overall, it's a nothing event that is neither impressive or fun, as you're simply doing the portal, which is something that people were doing already. So yay for that, I guess. Fun, it's not fun. So should you invest all your time in this event? I mean, you'll casually do it anyways. It's a literal nothing burger. I'd give the event 3 out of 10. It's nothing special. I've played gacha games events that have more going on for them than this one. And even calling this an event is a lie. It's more like a bonus activity applied to the portal. Play the portal, get extra guns. Whee! And with that, ladies and gentlemen, ends our brutally honest review. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you enjoyed the review and want to see more reviews like this in the future. I'm Mr. Gaming Counselor, and until next time, don't forget to be the best version of yourself and game out. Huzzah!